Hi, Chris from Tech Tablets with the part 2, hands-on with the Cube i10 here. So what I forgot to show in the first unboxing video was the power adapter and the cable they give you. So inside the box here we have a power adapter they give us, and that is a 5V 2A one. Now this depends on who you buy it from, because they often, I think this tablet doesn't actually come from the factory with its own adapter, and they add that the seller. So a seller will probably just chuck that in there into the box for you, and that's 5V 2A and a USB, micro USB to normal sized USB port there. There's an instruction manual as well, and that has English and Chinese in it, and it just goes over some of the things to do with Windows 8, really, how to use Windows 8. So that's all there. There's other little warranty card thing in there, and nothing really else exciting. So I managed to power the tablet on now, because in the first video I had no charge whatsoever. It was literally at like 2%, so I just had nothing. So I've got the cable in here, and you can see the screen brightness. If I just turn it right up here, it's quite bright, good looking screen. It seems very similar to the Chewy i10 screen. I am almost 100% adamant that they are the same exact panel they are using. Now I have noticed that the Chewy i10 has a larger gap when it comes to the laminated screen, so there's a bit more of a gap in the screen, and I'll try and show you now in the video, hopefully. There's a bit more of a gap than there is on the Cube for some reason. So Cube have got slightly less. If you have a look here on the Chewy, I'll just try and get the camera to focus on this. If you can see that, there's that line along here. That's the air gap. It's a little bit hard to make out in the video. And if I now show you the Cube i10 screen, you'll see that, well, hopefully on the video, if I can get it to come out properly, you'll see there that the gap is not as obvious. It's a little bit less. So they've managed to, during the manufacturing process, to use the touch screen a little bit. Maybe there's some way they've made it fit so it has less of a gap there. So it looks a little nicer just to have that there. So it came with Windows 8.1 Pro here, which is interesting. I would expected Windows Bing, but for some reason that's what I have installed here. So 8.1 Pro, I'm not sure whether all of the units will be shipping with that, but that's nice to have. But I have to be careful that's not that horrible Chinese single language edition, which can be a bit of a problem, because if you do a factory reset, once you reboot it, everything's going to be in Chinese, and there's no way to install an English language pack. Hopefully that's not the case here, but what I do recommend you do is create a Windows backup image from the control panel just in case, because it's all set up in English here. So the free available space we have is 13.6 gigabytes there, and the total is 19.9. So 20 gigabytes has been given to Windows. We of course have Windows recovery partition there, which is about 4 gigabytes, and then Windows installation is about another, I don't know, 3 or 4 on top of that. So there's not that much free space there, but it's a little more than we normally see. Now I haven't benchmarked or done anything yet. I've just booted the tablet up. That will come in another video with benchmarks, where I will check out the eMMC speed. I've just plugged in my micro SD card, and it's a 64 gigabyte Samsung Evo card, and that worked without an issue there, no problems. I'm just going to show you now some demo clips here that I used to show before, just to have a look at this screen. So these are some photos here I shot on a Galaxy Note 4. Just to have a look at the screen. One of them is a 4K clip as well. So even though the screen resolution isn't a Retina display, it's not high. I mean, it's at 768p, 1366 by 768. And that's a 4K clip that it can play without any problems from the micro SD card. It's a 2K video here. So the speakers are at 100% there, and they are typical tablet speakers, very tinny, and there's absolutely no bass to them whatsoever, and yeah, just not good at all. I can tell from that straight away that the Chewy i10 speakers, they are much better than that, a little bit louder. They're pretty average, those speakers there. So if I boot over now into Android, all I need to do is just select the little icon down here, and it says going to switch to another OS. And now it will switch over into Android. So the tablet is now booted over into Android, and this is the first look here at the ROM. Now the screen is suffering from that same issue that the Chewy i10 has on the same exact screen resolution. That the DPI they've used on the ROM here, hopefully you can see that okay, is a little bit blurry compared to Windows. It just doesn't look as clear there. You can see just around the text there, browser. It's not as sharp as it could be. I'm sure they could adjust that DPI to something that would suit the screen resolution a little and just make it look a little bit sharper there. So I'll go into settings now and have a look at the storage, what free space we have. So you've only got just over 2.5 gigabytes there of free space in Android, so that's not a lot. So if you're going to be installing some big games, then you're going to run into some space issues quite quickly there. So have a look at the stock ROM. Seems very stock kind of Nexus looking. And these are the applications I've installed for us already on the tablet. So there's a bit of bloatware here. We can see game, a couple of things here in Chinese. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This one up here, 5. So 5 or 6 bloatware applications there that we'll probably should be able to remove some of them at least. I can uninstall this one. And you can also go through settings and go along here to apps, and you should be able to just quickly there, you can remove those ones there. Any other ones that you don't want, you can disable them too there. So the ROM's not too bad. I mean, I have seen more bloatier ROMs than this. For example, the TechLast ROMs tend to be full of bloat and they can be quite heavy ROMs, but this one doesn't seem to be too bad. And if we want to switch over to Windows, it's just a matter of swiping down there and pushing OS switch there, and it will boot over. Now I'll have some benchmarks coming up soon on this tablet, so both in Android and Windows I will test out lots of things there and have some new videos, but I need some time to set those ones up first. So this is just a part 2, unboxing and hands-on here with the Cube i10. Thanks for watching the video, and do keep an eye out for those newer videos if you are interested in those in this model here. They'll be coming up in a day or two with benchmarks so you can see the true speed of it. It's going to be a little bit slower than the i10 from Chewy because it has a slightly slower processor, but normally graphically they're about the same when it comes down to graphics, and the performance is only marginal. So that's the video there. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next up and coming video.